Seeing my mom dealing with everything, having so much on her plate, family, work, and an illness that didn't make it easy to her. Trying for years diets and anything to lose weight. But with no results, she gave up on this, tired and sick of everything. It made me wonder, why was it so difficult? We missed very important details that not only could have given her the understanding of her situation, but also could have given her the willingness to go ahead with her own dreams, with happiness and with less regrets and blames. Emotions aren't isolated. In fact, everything is connected. This episode shows some reason why sticking to a diet sometimes is so difficult. Welcome to another episode of Shaking Angles. Together and sharing is more and better. Thank you for being here, finding different perspectives to our life in Shaking Angles. What marks us for life are the toughest situations. But then is when we can learn and use them in the best way. Because everything has its upsides. In my case, my mother had lupus. She struggled with her health for more than 15 years. She faced so many issues, and being obese was one of the worst complications. I think I learned in a tough way the value of health. I believe this is why I have worked a lot on building good habits. To me, our health has to be our priority. Well, in this situation with my mom, we try different nutritionists, dietitians, recipes, but something we didn't see at that time was the need and the focus on her mindset, on her habits. She had so much on her plate. 2 girls, work. She always was stressed. On top of everything, she was diagnosed with lupus. I remember her asking why and thinking on different possible reasons why that happened. At that time, I didn't understand the value of a therapist or any other professional in that matter. I understood, after all, very likely my mom was depressed. What it was for sure, she was blaming herself for her situation. She was upset with herself for everything. And nothing was her fault. However, she was also very strong. She was always able to support me and my sister and our whole family. She was always for us. And because of this strength, I never considered she would have need of help. It is important for us to consider having help. It makes dealing with everything easier. I saw how many times she tried to get on a diet. She knew it was the best for her. But when she failed, it was a hit to her. It put her even lower than before. After some time, it was like she thought there was nothing left for her. She gave up. And you could ask, what's the relationship between our eating and our feelings and emotions? Well, everything. It is 100% related. And we need balance in our life. Even though my mom is not with us anymore, very sadly, I kept trying to understand why this was so difficult. And with this, I mean everything: building habits, dealing with all our responsibilities in our life. And here comes the first takeaway from today: our mental health is at the same level as our physical health. Going to a therapist is as important as going to the cardiologist or any other specialist. There is nothing to be ashamed of. We need to get that help. The first time I was with a therapist, it was maybe when I was 6 years old. I had claustrophobia, and I used to have bad episodes because of that. And I remember going there and talking to the therapist. It was like a regular conversation. I didn't understand much what was happening. And I remember the first time I controlled myself from an episode. I remember the moment stopping to think and check properly if the door was open or not. And I couldn't imagine how different my life would be if my mom wouldn't have taken me to a psychologist. There are so many beliefs in regards to the psychologist and therapist. We are not crazy or ill if we see a psychologist. In fact, I think it is wise to find the support to learn how to deal with everything, and more importantly, when we are facing conditions of health. Nowadays, in very rare situations, I have felt I could lose control with the fear of being closed in a place. But I still remember and I use what to do and what to think when I'm having that feeling. So do not hesitate to find the right place to talk and find the perceptions and techniques that could help facing any situation. The second point I want to mention today is my mom was open to try new food. Some days very motivated to give it a go and to start that new diet. But quickly after, she got tired. Firstly, one issue we had at that time, maybe not anymore, is that eating healthy was boring, plain, or always the same. Nowadays, there are a lot of recipes, choices that could help us making delicious and healthy food. It doesn't need to be boring. Secondly, habits will include the taste of the food. Our brain is familiar with the taste of the food that we have eaten even before we were born. And look, this is not a joke. Research have shown how an Indian or Mexican person, for instance, has more tolerance to spicy food because of the high amount of spicy food eaten by their mothers while pregnant. Additionally, considering that we have eaten for most of our life what our families eat and has fed us naturally, it will be easier to choose that type of food. So, when we go for that noon meal after a long day, it is not because we are gluttonous. It's because we are tired, we lose focus, and it's easier for our brain to choose what's familiar. If you really want to change this habit, it will take time, and it's 100% achievable. Give the time to get familiar with the taste of the food that you want to incorporate in your menu. After 2 months eating that, you will find the old food too sugary or too rich. But you have to try. If you have listened to the previous episode, you might notice that I have mentioned that it will be easier to do what we have done since little, meaning habits. Always it's going to be easier to stick what we have done for years. Each different food, each different taste and flavor represent a different habit. Now, when my mom got tired, it was because she changed all her menu at once, plus more than 15 habits together. Drinking water, exercising, so many things together. Our brain and our body crave for what's familiar. And changing so many things together, it's overwhelming. Too many things to be focused at the same time. And as usual, I love the example with babies. It is so easy to see anything with them. When we are babies, we don't start eating everything together. It goes food by food, step by step, to see if the baby is allergic, does she like it or he like it. We need to do the same with ourselves and the new food. We need to take it step by step. Going slowly today or in this topic means food by food. You want to change your eating habit? Choose just one type of food. Giving up juices, just juices. Giving up processed sugar, try before changing just the sugar. What my mom and I didn't know, first, have the trust and confidence to break belief and judgments in regards to mental health professionals. To get help from professionals. Finding the support and the right place to talk. It was the best for her. Another thing that we didn't know, there were too many changes at once. That's why it was so tiring and easy to give up. Another point, the choice of food was based on what was known to her, what was easier to her brain. It was a matter of time and patience to get used to those new tastes and build those habits. Going slow, in this case, was going food by food, like a baby. Getting comfortable was having the freedom of choosing the easiest food to start with. It's your choice. Choose what's easier to you. And of course, the two things that will always apply to our goals. Get rewarded every day by doing it right. It's okay to fail. Just get back on track. Nothing happened and there is no need to be punished because of that. All this showed that when we fail our food plan, it's not because we are lazy or glutton or something else. It's only because it's known, familiar. If we teach our kids to eat in a healthy way from little, they're not going to fight against their eating habits as we do. Because the healthy way is going to be their familiar way, the easiest way for them. Today, I can share this with you because I did ask myself why it was so difficult. Today, I am conscious of how important is our health because what I have lived, and I appreciate it even it wasn't easy. And this topic hasn't finished here, but we're gonna resume in the next episode because I really wish to share all the details and have a really good understanding and comprehension of this. Thank you very much for being here in another episode of Shaking Angles. Have a great weekend.